Hey, what's up? It's Todd with Shutterstock, and last week we gave away 191 free video assets. Why? Because you're worth it. One of my favorite things that I do at this job is making freebies. Freebies can be anything. Motion graphics, design assets, sound effects, anything that can help you make your videos and your designs better. They can be straightforward things that you need all the time, or they can be a bit more experimental. My number one rule about freebies, always make something that I would want to download and use myself. Sorry, that's a lot of fun. So I haven't been able to make a new video for the Shutterstock Tutorials channel in a little over a month, and I know that all of you have been wondering where I've been. And that's because I've been locked away in this studio making a whole bunch of free video assets to give away to you guys on Premium Beat's Free Week. And so Free Week is a thing that we do on Premium Beat once a year, and it's where every day for a whole week we give away one free pack of video assets. And so in this video I'm going to show you some behind the scenes on how we created and how you can use the elements from this year's Free Week. Okay, so if you want to download the freebies from Free Week, just head over to premiumbeat.com, and here in the blog we have this free downloads button where you can check out all of our free downloads, and that's where you're going to find the assets from Free Week. And so number one, 17 free anamorphic lens flares. So these are lens flare overlays that you can use for your motion graphics design, for your video projects, or you could even put it in your photography if you wanted. So these are just going to be really nice anamorphic lens flares that you can throw on top of your video. So recently I got an opportunity to test and review some anamorphic lenses, and here's that video right there if you'd like to check it out. These were the Atlas Orion anamorphic lenses, and they were amazing. They looked beautiful, and so naturally when I get a set of beautiful lenses, maybe every once in a while I'll shoot some lens flare overlays for you guys and hold all your J.J. Abrams jokes for later. And just to show you a quick example of how you would use these lens flare overlays, I have this shot of this gentleman. He appears to be in space. And obviously you can use these in any nonlinear video editing software like Final Cut, After Effects, DaVinci Resolve, anything that has compositing options or blending modes in it. So that should be pretty much everything. So let's just kind of find a nice flare to throw on top of this shot. And I think right there, that's the one I like. So I'm gonna kind of start it where I like it, and we're gonna drag it down here onto our timeline. And first off, it's 4K. This is a 1080 shot, so I'm going to right click on this clip. I'm going to select scale to frame size. And here in Premiere, in effect controls, I'll find blending modes. I'm going to set from normal to probably screen. And there you go. Now that cuts out the black and overlays the lens flare on top of your footage. And if you'd like to customize the look of your lens flares, you can use color correction tools and alter the contrast and the saturation and even the color if you'd like to have a more customized or natural look. Okay, and next we had 21 free motion graphics templates for Premiere Pro. This includes 13 different transitions, 8 different title graphics. So this is 21 different MOGRT files that you can use natively in Premiere and have motion graphics inside of Premiere without ever needing to open After Effects. So this is kind of like a cool new feature as of around Premiere 2018, where there's a thing called the Essential Graphics panel that you can use pre-made templates from After Effects directly in Premiere. So you may remember a couple months back we put out a pack of lower thirds exactly like this. They were the MOGRT files for the Essential Graphics panel, but we actually created this pack to kind of play nicely with that pack. So I highly recommend downloading them both so that you kind of have a pre-built almost graphics package. So to use these, you just click on this little button down here in the bottom right hand corner of the Essential Graphics panel, and this is where you're going to install them. Now, one thing that's kind of a bummer is you have to install them one at a time if you do it this way. And so now we can take a quote graphic. This is one of my favorites from the pack. And so once you click on one of these graphics, you'll get these customization options in the Essential Graphics panel. And in this particular graphic, you have up to 6 lines of text. You can change the color of all the items, including the name color here. And you could even change the line length. So if you wanted to have this line be longer or shorter, you could change the size of the name text right here. You could actually move it around. Everything is kind of customizable, but it's all going to animate and it's all going to be natively inside of Premiere. So now we're going to talk about one of my personal favorites, Space Kit. I called it Space Kit because it's a kit of 40 different space things. So the name of the game with this pack is it's all 100% kind of organically created space elements. To make this, I used techniques that I saw in the behind the scenes featurettes of like Tree of Life or the movie The Fountain. Making this pack was absolutely amazing. The kind of textures and colors and looks you can get playing around with fluid dynamics like this, to me, beats just about anything I've ever been able to make inside of a computer. To do it, I used a 25-gallon fish tank, and I filled about half of it with highly concentrated salt water. And to do this, I just boiled a bunch of rock salt into a gallon of water, 1 gallon at a time, and filled it about halfway up. And then you have to gently put a layer of fresh water on top of that. This creates 2 different layers of water with different densities, which kind of allows you to create the look of different atmospheres. And to do this, you can use some sweetened condensed milk, mix it with a bit of water, and then you just put in different colors of food coloring. And then when you add it to the water, you get some really interesting looks where the different colors kind of rest in between the 2 layers. If you happen to have a fish tank laying around, I highly recommend giving it a try. And for the rest of the elements, I took a piece of glass out of an old picture frame and set it up horizontally with the camera pointing downwards at it. I just used the same sweetened condensed milk concoction and mixed it with various other liquids like hydrogen peroxide and alcohol and some soap bubbles and things like that. And when all of those different densities kind of play with each other and react to one another, you get some really, really cool textures. And now the freebie that was probably the most fun to make, the Action Hits Toolkit. This pack has a little bit of everything. Sparks, muzzle flashes, dirt hits. To create the dirt hits, I just used a paintball gun and these paintballs that they make that are filled with dust that explode really easily. And if you light it right, you can get a perfect black background. And then I spent a couple days making a whole lot of sparks. Some of these I created using an old trick that I would do when I was a kid, where I would take apart a cigarette lighter and pull the flint out of it. And if you get it to a high enough temperature, you can throw it at something and it'll explode into a lot of sparks. And for all of this stuff, please either don't do it or just be very careful, be safe. Anything that happens to you isn't my fault. It's not my fault. And I also got a little bit experimental with some steel wool and setting it on fire and spinning it around at really high speeds using a Dremel tool. To me, it kind of gives a cool sort of Doctor Strange effect. The goal with this pack was to give you a lot of different types of assets that you could use and layer to create action hits, sci-fi stuff, magic hits, like fantasy, spell, cast kind of stuff. More than anything, this pack is about experimentation and interesting textures that you can use for a lot of different things. And last but not least, we have the 40 Footstep sound effects pack. So this was basically just me wanting to give away something that I am always looking for online and having a lot of trouble finding. So in this pack, I just grabbed all the different textures around the office I could find. I brought 6 or 7 different types of shoes to the office and just spent a couple days just recording myself at walking at various different speeds, running, walking, sneaking, doing all this kind of stuff on all these different textures. There are a lot of cool things that you can do with kind of layering them and panning them from one side to the other to really bring your audience's attention to various parts of your scene or the types of shoes or the surfaces that the people are walking on. So I'm really excited about that freebie. I know that's one I'm going to be using all the time. And so for us, the goal of freebies is just to kind of thank all the people who support our different brands and give them something for free that they would usually pay for to elevate their own video work. So we have free assets for photographers, for designers, filmmakers, motion graphic designers, really any type of creative. We have free assets and elements that you can use. So I'm gonna put a massive list of all the different pages where you can find these things. So I hope you guys find these assets helpful. I had a whole lot of fun making them. I always do. And I hope you guys get some really good use out of them. If you do anything with these elements, please send it to me. I wanna see what you guys make. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Comment, subscribe, like, all that stuff. I'll see you guys next time.